Welcome all. Today we are going to discuss Refugee Blues, a poem by W.B.H. Auden. This is the first chapter in the last module called Human Rights. This presentation has divided into three parts. The first we will discuss about the poet. Then we will move to basic informations about the poem. Then finally the analytical part. About the poet. W. H. Auden was born in 1907 and raised in the West Midlands of northern England, whose industrial cities remain an important poetic landscape throughout his career. His first collection of poetry, entitled Poems, was published and it inaugurated the movement of English verse known as Auden's generation. He won Pulitzer Prize for The Age of Anxiety and the National Book Award for The Shield of Achilles. Auden was undeniably modern in tone and content in the utterance of the unarmed experience of First World War Europe. And he was one of the poets who has experienced and witnessed the World War and the rise of Nazism, Nazist and fascist forces in Europe. Concerns for the rights of various marginalized individuals and communities remain a principal theme always in his literary work. That means the rights of the marginalized, the weakest section of the society, was one of the themes that he explored in his literary work. Let's discuss about the poem. Refugee Blues laments the sad plight of the Jews who were threatened to leave the country before the Holocaust, the indifferences and antagonism they faced while seeking asylum in European country. This poem was first published in 1939. That point is very important. On eve of World War II, the poem meditates on the plight of Jewish refugees forced to flee Nazi Germany but unable to find refuge elsewhere. The poem is considered as one of the most significant responses in the context of violation of human rights of the Jews in Europe, who were brutally killed and persecuted under Hitler's rule. The poem has a special importance in the present global context, in which migration has emerged as a burning problem with thousands of dying at the sea and shown the door of exit from many countries. Although this poem discusses the plight and the suffering experienced by Jews in Nazi regimes, but the poem has its own significance in present scenario, as we have witnessed the refugee crisis, especially the crisis, the problem, the suffering of Rohingya refugees, and also from when civil war was going on in Middle East. Many of them migrated into different countries seeking asylum, but many European countries and including some of the Asian countries closed their door. So that means this poem has some significance in present context. The speaker of the poem is a Jewish refugee who is addressing his lover about the abyssal plight of the refugees of the world. Now we will move to the analysis part of this poem. Let me read it for you first. Say, the city has 10 million souls. Some are living in a mansion, some are living in halls. Yet there is no place for us, my dear. Yet there is no place for us. Once we had a country, we thought it fair. Look in that atlas, you will find it there. We cannot go there now, my dear, we cannot go there now. In the village churchyard, there grows an old yew. Every spring it blossoms anew. All passports can't do that, my dear, all passports can't do that. The council banged the table and said, if you have got no passport, you are officially dead. But we are still alive, my dear, we are still alive. Went to a committee, they offered me a chair, asked me politely to return next year. But where shall we go today, my dear, where shall we go today? Come to a public meeting, the speaker got up and said, if we let them in, they will steal our daily bread. He was talking of you and me, my dear. He was talking of you and me. Thought I heard thunder rumbling the sky. It was Hitler over Europe saying they must die. Oh, we were in his mind, my dear, oh, we were in his mind. Saw a puddle in the jacket fastened in a pin. Saw a door open and cat let in. But they weren't German Jews, my dear, they weren't German Jews. Went down the harbour and stood upon the quay. Saw the fish swimming as if they were free. Only 10 feet away, my dear, only 10 feet away. Walked throughout the wood, saw the birds in the trees. They had no politicians and sang at their ease. They were in the human race, my dear, they were in the human race. Dreamed, I saw a building with 1,000 floors, 1,000 windows and 1,000 doors. No one of them was ours, my dear, no one was ours. Stood on the great plain in the falling snow. 10,000 soldiers marched to and from, looking for you and me, my dear, looking for you and me. Let's start analyzing this poem. Say, this city has 10 million souls. Some are living in a mansion, some are living in halls. Yet there is no place for us, my dear. Yet there is no place for us. The poet tells us the contradiction of the world. In the city, there are million souls. Some of them are leading luxurious life. At the same time, some of them are living under utter poverty. So there is a contradiction in the world. Some are very rich, some are very poor. No matter, he says that there is no place for us. As means Jewish people. The people, even the rich people and the poor people are living in the street, in the city. But we don't have any place because we are Jewish. My dear, yet there is no place for us. See, look at this sentence in the following couplet also. He has repeated the word, my dear, my dear. That emphasizes the speaker's pain and emotions. It shows his pain and emotions. Being a Jew, he experienced badly from the authority. Once we had a country, we thought it fair. This is a reference to country Germany. And some critics say it may be a reference to Palestine, but this is a reference to Germany. They were excommunicated, they were expelled from Germany. Look in the atlas, you will find it there. Now when you look at the world map or the atlas, you can find Germany is there. But being a Jew is they don't have a place in Germany. We cannot go there now. We can't go to the Germany. My dear, we can't go there because we are Jew. In the village churchyard, there grows an old yew. Everything spring it blossoms anew. All passports can't do that, my dear. All passport can't do that. Here, dear students, yew is a kind of tree. The reference is that old yew tree blossoms every year anew. As you know that the trees It depends on the cycle. If one particular season the leaves fall down and it gets a new greenish leaves, but he compares this yew tree with the plight of Jewish people. The old passport they are holding cannot be renewed because they are Jewish. Even the tree is making few contradictions with a natural reference. In the nature, in the environment, a tree can be brought again into life. But in case of a Jew, their passport cannot be renewed. The council banged the table and said, banged means നല്ല ശക്തിയായിട്ട് അടിക്കുക, ശബ്ദമുണ്ടാക്കുക. The council banged the table and said, if you have got no passport, you are officially dead. It means the council is a representative that country sent to them. It says that he is someone who is supposed to help this people, this migrant, these refugees. But what he is doing, in fact, he is pushing the refugees aside. And they said that if you don't have a passport, you are officially dead. But the other says that we are still alive, my dear. We are still alive. Because we don't know, when you refused, you are the person who was supposed to help us. You are not ready to help us. Now we don't have any place to go. Went to committee. They offered me a chair. And he did not stop. They went to the speaker and his beloved. We went to a committee. Committee may be an office, maybe an embassy, or similar any office. They offered me a chair, asked me politely to wait next year. They also shows the indifference. They told us, you're supposed to wait this year. You can go next year. But where shall we go today, my dear? Where shall we go today? And it shows that he approached different authorities, seeking asylum. But he is totally confused now. Everybody is closing door to these Jewish people. And he is asking this question, where shall we go today, my dear? Where shall we go today? Come to a public meeting. After that he came to a public meeting. The speaker got up and said, if we let them in, they will steal our daily bread. He was talking of you and me, my dear. He was talking of you and me. Come to a public place meeting. It shows the politicians, the rulers of the other countries. This says that if we admit these Jewish people, they would grab all our opportunities. They would grab all our jobs. They will grab the food that actually deserve for us. It shows the xenophobic attitude. That means the hate of other countries. The kind of fear, the fear that if we admit the Jewish people, they may take our advantage, they may take our job, they may take the food that is cultivated for us. The speaker says, dear, they are talking of you and me. Thought I heard the thunder rumbling in the sky. Here the WBH Auden has used hyperbole, the figure of speech. It means the thunder rumbling the sky is a voice of Hitler saying, Jews must die. Rumbling in the sky means the voice of Hitler. It was Hitler over Europe saying they must die. It shows that what was the intention of Hitler. He says that these Jewish people must die. Oh, we were in his mind, my dear. Oh, we were in his mind. Hitler ordered to kill all Jews, including the speaker and his beloved. In his mind means the mind of Hitler. He reminds his beloved that the Hitler has ordered to kill all Jews, including the speaker and his beloved. Saw a portal in the jacket fastened with pin. Saw a door open, a cat let in. But there weren't German Jews, my dear. There weren't German Jews. The point that you must remember, here we have see we have the picture portal, and we have cat here. So it shows animal imagery. Since that portal means dog, small dog, cat, we have the imagery. They are freely moving. They are well protected and well secured. The lives of animals are well secured than human being. The cat can get into home, but we can't, because we are German Jews. We are not acceptable. The people, they close their door to us. But the animals, there are two references, podil and cat. They can move without any restriction. Went down the harbor and stood upon the quay. Saw the fish swimming as if they were free. Only 10 feet away, my dear, only 10 feet away. Again we have animal imagery. The speaker criticizes the Nazi regimes for creating an environment in which natural things act far more better than humans. Here over the reference is a fish. The fish can swim freely without any restrictions. At the same time, Nazi regimes has restricted Jewish people. They have persecuted Jewish people. They have done Holocaust. Holocaust means the massive killing of Jewish people by Hitler. Walked through a wood, saw the bird in the trees. They had no politicians and sang at their ease. They were in the human race, my dear. They were in the human race. Here we have the reference of politicians. The politicians are corrupting the society in which they are living. Here again we have the reference of birds in the trees. All the other living things, including the birds, are able to live in peace, but the human can't, because of their race, because of their identity as a Jews. Even the bird can fly. There is no restriction. There is no political boundary. There is no political mark between the country. There is no restriction because they do not belong to human race. The Jewish people, they belong to the human race. That's why they have restriction. They are unacceptable and welcomed throughout Europe. Dreamt I saw a building with 1,000 floors, 1,000 windows and 1,000 doors. Not one of them was ours, my dear. Not one of them was ours. Here we have two contradictory images: refugees versus ordinary people. It says that he dreams a building with 1,000 floors. He can see a building with 1,000 floors, 1,000 windows and 1,000 doors, but not one of them was ours, my dear. Has seen in the city or in area where the speaker is standing, there are thousands of floors, there are thousands of windows. Even the ordinary people, the rich people, are living there peacefully, but none of them was belonged to Jewish people. They were not acceptable there. They were not welcomed there. Stood on a great plain in the falling snow. 10,000 soldiers marched to and fro. looking for you and me, my dear, looking for you and me. Stood on a great plain in the falling snow. Here we have the falling snow. Snow, as you know, is a white color. It's white. It connotes, it means the blankness and confusions felt by refugees. It can be interpreted in that way also. And the author has used the device pathetic fallacy here because he was comparing whether describes the isolation and the alienation being experienced by the Jewish people playing in the falling snow. 10,000 soldiers marched to and from, and in the snow it is very visible, and they can see the border or somewhere the area where they have playing in the falling snow. The soldiers, they are waiting for me and you, waiting for Jewish people, including the poet and his beloved. That is the last line, looking for you and me, my dear, looking for you and me. Because they want to prosecute, they want to kill, they want to massacre these Jewish people. That's why they are waiting in the border. Let's conclude this discussion. This poem is a documentation of the denial of basic human rights of migrant people of the world. Although this poem focuses on the plight of Jews in Nazi Germany, a global picture of refugee crisis is evident. As you know, the speaker and his beloved tried their best to get shelter in any part of the world, but all authorities refused to admit them because of their identity, because of their Jewish identity. That is the context. It was, as we said at the beginning, this poem was written on eve of Second World War. In between the First World War and Second World War, one of the features of the world history is the rise of fascism in European countries, especially in Germany and Italy. In Germany, these people, the Jewish people, were blamed based on their race. Hitler claims that his race is better than them, and he blames Jews for the failure, for the defeat of Germany in the First World War. So he started persecuting, he started killing Jewish people. That is the context of this poem. But this poem does not confine into that particular context. It has very, very important, significant role in the present scenario, as we have seen refugee crisis in the when there was a civil war in Myanmar, where the people Rohingyas, they were moving to Bangladesh, India and some other part, and many countries they were refusing to admit these people. And we also witnessed the same migration, the crisis of migrant from the Middle East, because the civil war is going on in the Middle East, from other European and some other countries. And so when you were thrown out of your home because of your identity, when authority refuses you to admit, you will not have a place in the country where you are born and brought up, and the other country will not accept you. That is a kind of mental trauma. You don't have any place to live in. You don't have the place where you are born and brought up. You cannot live there because the authority do not allow you. And similarly, you will not be welcomed by other countries. You will be in between. You will be between sea and devil. The poem raises broader questions about isolation, loneliness and exile. It depicts the trauma and pain of being forced to leave home and of being unable to find a place of safety and security in a violent and uncertain world. That's all for these sessions. Thank you. Thank you.